Welcome to On the Line, and I'm your host, Britton Carter. This is the show that promises to uplift and inform the community. Before we get into our show, though, let me remind you how to follow us. You can follow us on Facebook at Watch On The Line, also on Twitter at Watch On The Line. And if you want to kick it with us tonight, you know we're going live. As a matter of fact, Namani, come over here and tell these folks how to follow us on Twitter.
Hi, if you guys want to interact with us while we're taping, use hashtag Watch On The Line, and we'll be sure to get your questions to our guests and our hosts, and we'll get you some answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanna. I'm feeling a little giddy tonight. You know, I've been under the weather, and so I'm starting to emerge from that, and you know, and that's a time when you start feeling better, you start feeling a little giddy. And I'm also a little overjoyed because I get a chance to do it all over again. Tonight, I got with us a guy that, you know, I really enjoyed the first time he was on the show. This is my man. Mr. Lee Zellars is with me tonight, and we're going to chop it up. We're not really going to talk about the industry too much. We just going to chop it up. Allow you at home to know how we really think outside of what we do, you know, because we think about some of the things that are affecting us locally and globally as well. So I want no better person than Lee Zellars to kick it with about these issues. Lee, welcome to the show.
What's up, man?
Good to see you again.
Good seeing you again. Good to be seen.
As usual.
Good to be seen.
So Lee, I've already informed you that we're going to get gutter with it. We're going to keep this thing on the line. And we're going to talk about some of the stuff that we talk about on Facebook and around the kitchen table. You know, and so it's a whole list. You know, I got a whole list, right?
Plenty of stuff.
So this is our version, Lee Zellars and Britton Carter's version of Hot Topics.
Hot topics.
Hot Topics. So at the top of the list, Alabama.
Oh, Alabama. What more can we say about Alabama? First, I'm excited.
More.
Roy Moore. But then the fact that we done went from red to blue, thanks to the sisters. Y'all got out there and did y'all thing. 98% black women voted. I don't know the other 2-3% where they went to.
Right.
Maybe it went to Roy. I don't know. But how did anybody think that this guy had the possibility? Well, Trump did. He was accused of trying to have relations with a 14-year-old. Then this guy was also banned from hanging around the mall. When you get banned, when you banned, you can't come to the mall. You in bad shape, especially because you're there to look at young girls.
That's right. You think they'd let him in Chuck E. Cheese?
They probably wouldn't let him in Chuck E. Cheese. He probably was hanging out in the lot. Look at that one right there. Pervert, man.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, that's sick. You know, but it's kind of indicative of the way that, you know, the Republican Party is going now. You know, we find that there's a lot of Republicans that are being that have alleged crimes, sexual crimes. You know, they're deviant.
Commander-in-Chief. So-called.
Yeah,
you know,
I guess, you know,
reach out and
lead
grab
by
him.
example, huh?
Right. Yeah. You know, I don't know why he thought the guy would. Well, I guess because, you know, Alabama pretty much has been a red state, so they figured, you know, throw some more red meat out there.
Right. Some more red meat.
Right. So, but they threw the wrong one. I mean, the guy, you know, he I think the day of, you know, the politicians being, you know, running for office or whatever, they go and vote themselves in.
Right.
He shows up on a horse.
High old silk.
Right. You know, they so want to go back to yesteryears.
Yeah, he did. And didn't he make a statement that reflected with slavery? He was talking about that those were the good old days.
You know.
For who?
Right.
For who, Roy?
I guess it was something about the black families was close. I mean, you had to be close. Because if we wasn't close trying to hold on to each other, y'all was taking them away selling them.
Yeah, and if they wasn't taking them away selling them, they was taking them away and betting them.
Right.
You know, and I want to give a shout out also to those 98% black women who came out to vote.
Yes.
You know, but I also want to make the statement that, you know, it's nothing new, because black women have actually been getting our backs.
The backbone of our society.
from
the
beginning
community,
of
the
time.
backbone of our community.
From the first docking of the slave ship,
Right. We love you.
it was our sisters. Thank you very much, sisters.
Thank you.
But that also says to me, and it should say to the rest of our country, that we need to just think if we would have united like that when they were doing the presidential election.
Right. And see, but that was one of the things that I thought about during that election. Is like how important it is, not just for when it's a presidential election.
Right.
We got to come out when it's midterms and all those other type of Senate races or whatever to show support or to get out and vote rather.
Right.
You know, and well, this was a perfect example. 98%. That was more women that came out and voted for Jones than they did for Barack Obama.
And hats off to Jones also for achieving his goal. But this is the same guy that prosecuted.
Yeah, for the church bombing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So he's always been like involved and showing concern about what was going on in the black community from back then.
Right. And when we look at the South and you talk about Alabama, you know, I mean, how much more evidence do we need in this country to show us that the we're swinging now?
Right.
It's, you know, no longer are people, you know, I mean, we still got our few that
Oh,
still got the
yeah.
hoods
Oh,
now. They got the
yeah.
hoods.
You know, it's still some people, and you mentioned going down to Alabama, where?
Where?
You know, that sort of that vibe, that sort of imagery still exists in a lot of people's minds down there because they had such a history of that.
Yeah, and you're right. And I was just in Alabama maybe about a year ago, and I had posted it on Facebook, and I walked into the cotton field, and I just had to walk out there and actually pick this cotton and actually get the feel of what my ancestors did.
Wow.
You know, I mean, even though I was doing it by choice,
Right.
you know, I felt the pain
Right.
of the force
Right.
that they had to go through to, you know, to pick this cotton. It's deep.
From sun to sundown.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable. You know, Alabama's a nice looking part of the country, but I don't want to live there. I'm scared of that cotton.
Yeah.
So let's move along. So anyway, congratulations, you know, to the victor.
That's right.
And to you, Mr. Moore, see ya.
See, they said Mr. Moore wanted to do a recount. And I was just thinking about that. I'm like, but did he ever think about recounting his age when he was trying to holler at the 14-year-old?
He wasn't trying to count then.
Okay.
He wasn't trying to count then. Well, then again, he did. Because he was like, are you 13 and a half or are you actually 14? I don't know if 14 was a starting age.
Maybe that was a starting age down there.
You think so?
It could have been, but...
Well, you know, they say them good old boys down there in the South now, they was used to 13.
That's sick, man. That's sick.
13, she right. That's sad.
Right.
That's
13, she's right to go outside and play hopscotch.
Yeah.
You know?
At 13, she has the right to go play with dog babies.
Right. That's
and,
what,
yeah, right. You know, at 13 or at 31,
right.
you know, you had the right to live free of oppression. You know, regardless to who you are. You know, in this country, you should be able to live free of oppression. But we know that's not the case.
That's not the case.
Yeah, so let's move on to the man that does make cases, Robert Mueller.
See, now you know what's going on. Now Trump is getting worried.
Is he worried?
He's worried because now it's kind of like, you know, this little dropping these little hints, you know, some little concern. And some people are trying to say that he may possibly want to have Robert Mueller fired, as if he's doing, it's costing the country so much money. You know, he's always with the hand. We're spending so much millions of dollars.
Right.
You know, coming out, there's no collusion.
That's him. That's him.
It's all bigly, widely, there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
There's plenty going on.
Yeah.
Because, here's my opinion. This is what I truly believe. Some of the first stories that came out about that was, it was a guy like some of the CIA in England. I think they call him MI something. But it's British intelligence, basically.
Right.
And some of the first stories that came from this British intelligence was that they had videotape of Trump back when he was doing those beauty pageants in Russia, and he was staying in the hotels there. And supposedly while he was in the hotel, he had a couple of Russian girls.
He was grabbing.
And he had a couple of Russian girls in there that, you know, did some stuff that most people just wouldn't do, like how women urinate on them.
What?
Supposedly, they supposed to have video footage of
Is
that.
that how he got his hair looking?
That could be where it explains the orange color.
The orange?
It just, he never.
One of them was a little tainted.
Little yeah,
tainted people.
Right. Too much vitamin B because of the
Something.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Just turn your hair orange.
But I think part of it is they got tape on him. And he knows that.
Right.
You know, and then also the other stuff, the collusion and all that.
And not just that, you know, even without the tape, I think he's worried about the stability of his son and his son-in-law.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know which one is the softest.
Well,
I was watching Don Jr., you know, and excuse me, I don't mean to offend nobody, but I'm just going to call it what it is. I was watching Donald Jr. walk,
yeah.
you know, and his walk is
He's a little soft.
suspect.
Yeah. Well, and Jared too, because it was. I think when Jared at one time when he went to vote during one of the elections,
Yeah.
and they asked the question, male or female, he checked off female. Why would you do that? Who does that?
He was telling the truth.
Right.
You know? So
Yeah.
at any rate, I think that Donald's actually worried about if they're going to hold up. All jokes aside, I think he's worried about if his son or his son-in-law, which one of them is going to break first. But, I mean, you know, and then you got his daughter.
Right.
You know, I mean, who's next?
Well, it's
Well, you know we don't have to worry about Melania.
Nah, she's just glad to be in the country without somebody questioning about her green card. Where's your papers? She's just glad ain't nobody asking her about her papers.
Right.
Because there's been some suspects about how she, you know,
Right.
her whole origins of how she got in here and all that kind of
Well, she gonna be straight because you know she'll find the pole in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Melania.
But,
Didn't mean to tell
but how
you
crazy is that though? I mean, throughout the history of this country, you know, we only have one first lady that you can Google search and find new pics of her.
Right. Right.
It baffles my mind. Like, well, it's not that confusing that how they got there. At times it is. Like, how did we put these people in there? But then when you look at back from the Tea Party-ish,
Right.
and the Sarah Palins of the world, and you know he's not really from America. He's from. So the mindset was waiting for this moment. They've been waiting for it. They've been waiting for Donald for a long time.
Or someone like Donald. They've been waiting to put a ringer in the game.
Right.
You know, they didn't care who it was. They needed somebody like Donald Trump in the game because they were so pissed off at us, at this country, for actually electing a black man.
Right. And the fact that, and that's what it's all coming down to, the whole collusion and everything, because it's the fact that here's a brother who's recognizing a lot of stuff that Russia was doing, was like, you know what, no, we're going to put these sanctions against you. We're gonna smack you around a little bit, teach you a lesson. And it makes sense for Russia, like, okay, well, you know, Donald, you done been over here, you done had beauty pageants, we friends, we done business.
Right.
These sanctions are hurting us.
Right. We're going to put you in the game.
Yeah, we get you in there, lift this stuff off of us.
Right.
So that's the whole, you know, that's what it comes down to.
So let me ask you, what are your thoughts in terms of, I mean, this guy had to know.
Oh.
He had to know what Flynn knew.
Yeah. They all together. It's like, if your son, you're running against somebody, your son supposedly gets an email or a contact about, I got some dirt on the person that your dad going up against. Well, you know, if he go check that out, he's going to come back. Guess what I found, Dad? I found out this. Well, how you find that out? I talked to them. Oh, okay.
Right.
Donald Trump knew about it.
Right.
It's like they say, it comes down to what he knew and when he knew it.
And what disturbs me is that, you know, we keep waiting, and I guess that, you know, we're piling information, evidence, you know, for an impeachment process. The hell with that.
The
hell with piling evidence. Don't you have enough? I mean, the first time he put a hit out on people, this punch him, this beat him up, I got your bond, right? That, you know, if his name was Guido, I would have swore he would have been in the mafia.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's a crime.
Right.
So with the collusion, the conspiracy, you know, I mean, all these things, those are things that they prosecuted guys for, you know, throughout the years.
Right. But again, you know, they have been waiting for this night to show up for them.
Right. Exactly.
And so, it's like sometimes I look at him and I see him and I'll sit there and I'm like, how did this guy ever get elected? Then it comes back to me. It's like, because they've been waiting for this moment.
So they say to him, Donald, stop that.
Right. Stop tweeting.
But he does it again and again and again.
He can't help himself. He can't put the phone down for 1 minute, and stop the tweet. Can't do it.
Can you imagine his young son saying, Dad?
Right.
He probably has to take it out of his hand.
Somebody just need to not pay his AT&T bill,
right?
So they can cut the phone off, so he can stop tweeting. I mean, that would help.
Yeah. Right. Right. That's crazy. So let's move on to another topic. Actually, this thing is ingrained in every topic that we talk about because it's the sex scandal.
Oh.
It's the sex. They said years ago, drugs, rock and roll, and sex.
Right.
Now, we definitely got the sex part going on.
Right. Well, we're trying to legalize drugs. So
yeah, they're trying to legalize the dope.
So
I don't know if they're listening to rock and roll too much anymore. I think they are, but they definitely got the sex and drugs going on.
It's scary. I mean, men, whatever y'all do, I just want to come out and say now, if there's somebody out there that's going to come out later and say I've done anything, possibly said the wrong thing, I might have gave a wink. I might have said you look good in that. I apologize to you now. I'm sorry. Got that out the way.
Well, I definitely apologize. I don't have any money though.
I ain't got no money.
I ain't got no money.
And so they gonna come out there. So we got no money.
They got to
die. They go, and I don't want women to get that wrong and say, well, it's all about them wanting, because like the whole argument is sometimes like, well, where was they at all these years ago? All this stuff happened now. You coming out now. And I get that. Sometimes things can happen to you. Like you suppress it. You don't want to talk about it. Then when you see other people coming forward, you feel comfortable at that time. You feel like I can come out and say my piece.
Right.
But now we in some scary waters here, man. It's kind of like, I mean, like they talking about the Christmas office parties people just gonna be having this coming Christmas. The mistletoe. They saying some people are saying we're not gonna even have a mistletoe.
Yeah, right.
Because it might create a situation where you might end up on the news later because you crossed the line.
Yeah, and on the same token, let me play devil's advocate. Would you agree that they deserve to be able to voice what happened to them at the time that they were ready or they felt strong enough to do so or protected enough to do so? Because as we know, this is abuse, this is terror, this is sure terror.
I don't disagree that a lot of these men and a lot of men even today are crossing the line. They're doing things that definitely could be considered sexual harassment. Right. The problem that I'm having right now is that we live in this country where it's supposed to be you're innocent till proven guilty. Right. So now it's like if, Tamika from back when she worked on a movie project with me or something, I'm working somewhere, she come out and say, well, I did something, and depending on if I'm working at some corporate office or whatever, I'm out without even, being able to prove. Can she prove this? Right. So it's like a lot of these men now are being, they're either being fired, like the Harvey Weinstein. Well, so many people that proved, pretty much. He done did a lot of the stuff that they saying, but it just makes me wonder, like how, where did this stuff? What's the place where it's like, okay, hold up, we need some proof.
Mm-hmm. They better keep Harvey away from the shower if he goes to prison.
Yeah,
Harvey has this fetish for showers.
And coming, but the thing is this too. Wouldn't you want to have a better developed body when you walk out of a room and open up your robe to because what do you think she's just gonna dive at you because you look so great? Or
wow.
The way you looking, she's gonna be scared and she's gonna want to run out the room.
Right.
I mean, look at the guy.
A hairy pork chop.
I mean, I don't know what he's thinking.
It's crazy. It's horrific. But just moving along into the sex thing, I want to get into like Russell Simmons and Bill Cosby, and also the black senator who was. Now, what I'm seeing,
John Conyers,
and what I saw there, I mean, it really kind of scared me because it was blatant. It was like, okay, we've got 100 perverted white guys here.
Right.
We better get 2 or 3 blacks.
Well, they got to find us.
You got to get a couple of them in there.
You got to balance this out some kind of way.
So what is that, equal?
Yes, because it's fair and equal, whatever. The John Conyers, you know, when you look at John Conyers, Charlie Rose, it's another real old guy. I can't think of somebody else they threw. And that's a bunch of old
Matt
guys.
Lauer,
Matt Lauer.
those guys. Yeah.
This is the problem. And I've had this conversation with some other people. It's Viagra.
It's Viagra.
It's Viagra. You can't get these old dudes out as Viagra. And they got money, you know, they got
right. They got jugs.
Yeah, it's like so they popping this stuff every day.
Right.
You at work,
right.
pretty young thing walking by, boing.
Yeah.
They losing it, man.
Yeah.
I think that I do believe that could be somewhat.
And I agree, and that's the first time I heard of that theory. But you know, in hearing that, I thoroughly agree with you. I mean, it replaces the older man chasing the Corvette, getting the Corvette or the race car, or doing something else to relive his youth.
Nah, you can't be thinking about a Corvette when you popping like 2 or 3 hits of Viagra.
Right, here we are now. I got those. Yeah, that Superman pill. It's like da 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 da.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's not natural. You know, it's like it's a reason why your testosterone and everything slows down as you get older, because I think that's kind of how the creator wanted it.
Right,
it's like
right,
when
right,
you're young,
right.
Yeah, go out there and make babies and have fun.
Right.
Get older, you're supposed to like be, then got settled, you know, and kind of focus on the person you with. But when you're taking all them blue pills, you know, hey.
Shoot. What they better do is call Lamar.
Yeah.
You better get a Lamar call.
Yeah.
Because he could tell you.
Yeah.
Hey.
Daddy Jackson, the Jackson father, he had an issue with down in Brazil.
Right. Too many of them boys. Yeah. We'll take you out of here. So let's talk about our money. You know.
Money.
Man.
It's like you can't get enough of it.
Did you hear what he said? I mean, he's really gonna do us a favor.
Right.
With this tax bill.
Right. I mean, yeah, if I was a billionaire.
Get out of here. It's ridiculous.
No, it's not going to do us a favor. It's not going to do the kids a favor.
Not at all.
Because, you know, every time they come up with a bill, they paint it one way. Well, we're going to do this, we're going to lower your taxes. And we're going to do, but they don't tell you about all the other stuff that they stick up underneath it, you know.
Right.
And it's like, they wasn't talking about how they was planning on, you know, taking a lot of money from the CHIP program. Or pulling money from Obamacare, you know, and then you had some of these other senators who was like, well, when I think about, you know, the CHIP program will lose so much money, it just kind of bring a little concern to me. Now, what should bring concern to you is like how this 1% is really going to be the one that's going to benefit from this tax bill. And the thing that they always, they say, oh, you know, the middle class, Now, what about the poor?
Exactly. And,
you know,
and why do they start at the middle class?
Right.
I was saying that the other day. I'm like, I kept hearing the middle class. You know, whatever happened to the poor?
Poor. Because I'm not with the middle class. I mean, I would love to be up there. I would love to be part of the upper middle class, but no.
Well, before we get to our last topic, I want to take a call. And, you know, let's take a couple of our calls. Monty, do we have anything? So while they're getting that together, you know, just remember, you can chime in. You know, you can get involved in this conversation. You know, this is our second time installing this. You know, where we have conversation with our video audience, with our television audience, and we love it. Right. You know, we get some great questions. You know, but don't wait until we leave. Don't wait until you see us on Facebook to holler. Holler now. You know what I'm saying? So we got something coming up here, I'm quite sure. So we got a very short time, so we're gonna get one of those in, and then we'll try it again next week. But we're gonna get one of those questions in, and that would be, okay, what do you think will be the next The Knicks here. What is that? Okay, why don't you just tell us then, Imani?
What do you think will be next here locally once the tax reform is in effect? So how do you think it's going to affect?
Here locally?
Yeah, locally.
Well, locally, I mean, because, you know, everything in politics starts off locally. You know,
Right.
it's all, like I say, all politics is local. But, you know, the idea that the bill is coming from the top, and, you know, the whole thing about the giving the tax breaks to the rich, and because when you get a tax break to the rich and these big corporations and all that, I mean, they hire more, they spend more, the trickle-down effect.
Right.
Well, we the local, we're supposed to trickle down to.
Right.
And the chances are, it didn't trickle down under Reagan. It was the same theory. It trickled.
Theory.
So locally, no, it's not going to trickle down to you.
No, and the only trickle down effect that we got was up under the Obama administration.
Right.
You know, everybody screamed about Obama and this resurgent package that he had in the community, but it worked.
Right.
It worked. Now, I want to get on to our last topic, and this is the hottest one of all, y'all. I wish I had a drum roll for this hole. I mean, for Omarosa. I'm sorry. Drum roll for Omarosa, because Omarosa now, you know, to take this from the time of joining the show, she got to be the Bama of the year.
Yeah. Well, you know, it started back when Commander-in-Chief, Berkeley's TV host for his show The Apprentice. She was one of the first, I think one of the first shows he did, I think she was like one of the first ones who won,
Right.
became The Apprentice or whatever it was.
Did
So they've been
well.
friends and they've been cool ever since. So, you know, me personally, like nobody knows like exactly what her position is, what her job is.
Well,
But I got a theory. And some of y'all, if you know me, y'all kind of know what my theory is about all this.
if you follow us on Facebook, you know what my theory is.
She's like the black Monica Lewinsky. That's how I see her.
You know,
Cause what did she do? She supposed to have been like the liaison between Trump and the black community. Where was the outreach?
right.
What was her role? What was her outreach as far as her position as being in the administration, who's supposed to be the liaison president to the black community?
Right.
Where was she ever out in any black community, even in Washington, talking about whatever issues that was going on in the community that she was bringing back to the White House to have discussions?
Right. She just didn't do it. She didn't do it justice. And here it is. Now that she got kicked out the back door, you know,
They had to drag her out.
kicked out the back door.
Yeah.
You know, and now you want to come back home.
Right.
You know, and you shouldn't have never left home.
Right.
You shouldn't have never left home. Look, boy, I wish we had an hour to do.
Right.
We're gonna have to do this again.
We gotta do it again.
Because we really needed to
we
roast
did a part-
him.
yeah, we
We
did a part
didn't
two.
roast him and roast him like we
Omarosa,
wanted
right.
to. But real quick, I know I got about 30 seconds left. Follow us on Facebook, because we're gonna be kicking it about this. Follow my show. It's hot. Follow this show. We're gonna do a part 2 of this. It's me and Lee Zellars. We got hot topics. This is Britton New One Carter, and we kept this thing on the line. We'll holler at you. Peace.
Right.